So here I am, Shelley Sage Hart, and I'm here with my friend
Amateo Ra.
And we are in Mount Shasta, California, and we just met a few days ago. We were both drawn to come down to Mount Shasta for the autumn equinox, and it's been a really beautiful, amazing weekend with a lot of soul family and doing some really beautiful healing work and spending time together.
Lots of transformation.
Lots of transformation. Yeah, it's been pretty intense, actually, and good in a lot of different ways. And so we're going to share a little bit about some of that process. And first we're going to start with an important transmission that came through. Amateo had a beautiful experience last night, and he was up on the mountain. And yeah, can you share a little bit more about your journey?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. So yesterday I headed up to the mountain and was told to climb to a certain extent, and was having a lot of processes in my mind, busy mind, and I had to clear all of that as I was walking up the mountain until I reached this beautiful rock that I was told to meditate on. And when I meditated on it, I received this big transmission from the mountain and from the Lemurian consciousness, which in sort of spiritual folklore, the Lemurians have a home inside Mount Shasta, and it is the place that they took refuge at the fall of their civilization. So I was there meditating, and I received this big transmission, and partially taken into the mountain, but more so just given this information in sort of a channeled state. And I was told to share this information, which is why we were brought together to do this video, I feel. And the transmission is as follows. So just recently, Mount Shasta was visited by Ashtar Command, and which is a sort of a galactic organization that brings information to different planets and star bodies. And they visited Mount Shasta, and they told me all this stuff. It's rather crazy. I'm just gonna believe it because it feels right. They said that there was a code that was given to them. It was called the source code for surface dwellers, meaning us, meaning humans. That it was a code that was given to us about the new templates that we are supposed to function in as this Earth undergoes these changes. You know, right now today's the 27th, so we just went through autumn equinox, as Shelley mentioned, and we're now in another potent time portal with Comet Elenin, and with the end of the galactic wave being in the 6th night. So potent time right now, and they shared with me that this new template is here to affect our lives. And so I'll share a little bit about the template.
Okay. I'm excited. This is good, because I love the way that consciousness unravels itself, and how. So thank you for for your courage to go up there. He was actually camping out on the mountain last night when he received this message, and I just want to clarify one thing. The message was actually coming through to you from the Lemurian consciousness.
Yes.
So it wasn't directly from Ashtar. It was more like Ashtar gave the codes and the templates to the Lemurians, and then that wisdom came through you.
Yes.
At that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
pretty wow.
Yeah, pretty wow.
Thank you.
Thank them. You know, I sat down, and before I knew it, this transmission came through. So it doesn't always happen this way, but when it does, it's kind of effortless and it's clear. So the transmission was from the Lemurians, and they showed me this map, and they explained to me that we are now in an evolving state of the Earth, where the Earth is going through a drastic change, but the Earth's purpose within this experiment that we've undergone for the last 26,000 years is really beginning to also reveal itself. And the purpose of the Earth in this source code map was that Earth is supposed to be a function of being able to bridge the polarity spectrum of frequency. So to explain that, we have darkness and we have light, and knowing that all things are vibration, Earth has been a function of being able to take all of the dark vibrations and all of the light vibrations and begin to create a unified map. The reason why that this is so significant is because being able to go into the darkness also means being able to replicate matter. So in say like a higher consciousness realm, higher dimensions, replicating matter is not always very easy. But when you have attained this sort of mastery of elemental creation, you have the darkness and the light be able to see each other. And so what they were showing me is that we're in the final stages of Earth bridging this sort of frequency gap.
The Earth itself, like Mother Gaia, as in the planet's consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole consciousness of the planet.
And which is also a collective consciousness. We're part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I really appreciate that, because that really brings us into our human experience being a microcosm of the Earth's experience as a whole, of our ability to have gone through so much trauma and so much shadow process, and also have these like ecstatic awakenings and remembrances that bring us into a place of truly knowing who we are on a multifaceted amount of levels. And what I was shown with this, and the reason why this is so important, is it was explaining how to navigate human consciousness through these next series of growth spurts.
Good, that's awesome.
Right. And so what I was shown was as if the Earth is going to receive a couple flicks from the galactic tuning fork, you know. It's going to come and shake things up a little bit, and as it does, it's going to move up and down through the darkness and through the light as we release all of these things and come more into our true nature.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So so it's kind of just like when we're learning to tune anything, there's sort of this spectrum of highs and lows that sometimes we hit before we actually get that resonant note or that resonant frequency. And so you're seeing that there's sort of this oscillation in frequency.
Yes.
From dark to light is one way to see it, or dense vibration to higher vibration. Is that another way to put it?
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly it.
And wow. I'm just really filled with awe to actually be sharing this moment with Amateo and to be talking about this, because I too feel this and understand this to be a big part of the process that we're in now, and part of what I've been moving through pretty intensely, I'd say maybe in the last 10 days on different levels. So this picture that he's sharing with us now is an important piece of information about how to be in the coming days. And can you share more about that?
Yeah, and I can, and I've been going through something very similar to that. It's been quite an experience to have these almost seemingly opposite emotions meet each other, to break through and have the sadness and the hurt and the happiness and the joy to really be meeting each other. It's a new way, and I think a lot of us are experiencing this. As far as how to navigate this for the future, what I was shown quite clearly is that there's a very strong designation for what human consciousness is meant to do in how this plays out. And that we are to be the curators of stillness. that we are to be the center point to help Mother Gaia through this transition of the spectrum. So there might be some drastic earth changes, as we've already seen, some drastic governmental, societal changes, and that really is these fluctuating currents of the earth as it goes through this almost purging-like process. But it's very easy for us to be caught in these swings. And as this time nears where things really begin to open up and different realities begin to present themselves, it's very important for us to note that we need to be in a place of stillness. And what the Lumerian showed me is I naturally am just gravitating towards the light. You know, the sun's glaring in my face. I want to fly into it if I could. I can't help it. And they're not saying not to do that. They're definitely saying find your light, but they're saying find it within yourself and find it within the stillness of the moment. And that what they showed me is when they showed me this spectrum, I threw myself into the light. And I threw myself into the light and I had this ecstatic emotional experience. And then boom, I was just thrown into the darkness. And I kept on getting slingshotted between the two. And I had to really catch my breath, because I think that they wanted to share that with me so that I could feel part of what the transmission was attempting to convey. That by choosing or favoring the light over the dark creates further segregation within consciousness. And Earth's development in this whole progression is not about separation, is not about favoring one side over the other side, but is about holding both sides and feeling and expressing them as the exact same thing. That there's no difference, that they are one thing, that the darkness and the light are one thing, and that both of those things are love. They're indescribable, they're eternal. And there's going to be moments at this time where we're given a choice, and it will look very attractive for us to sort of jump into the light or be drawn into the depths of the darkness. And what they're really sharing is that the surface dwellers are supposed to be the stillness curators. That is what we're here for.
Stillness curators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meaning the ones who care for the stillness.
Yes.
That hold the remembrance that the vibration is one of a still point. One of acceptance of the full spectrum of our experience and the full spectrum of consciousness. I guess because consciousness is on so many different levels, right?
Yeah.
There's like, when we talk about light and dark, it's not only playing out in the human drama, the human experience, but on all these other levels. And so we have the opportunity to witness and presence and hold space for these transformations as they occur on levels way beyond, right? I think that's what I'm getting, way beyond anything we can control as humans.
And
that just a little bit more, the outplay of consciousness as it evolves. Like I get caught up in my human story of that. Like how is the human experience perceiving what's going on, and I'm just really getting it that by being the still points, we're witnesses for something much greater than our individual perspectives, our individual human perspective.
Yeah, really well said.
Thanks.
You touch on a lot of really potent points there, which two specifically that I feel are really relevant. And one is our role and our role in feeling. And we talked a little bit about this, that in holding stillness does not mean denying emotions. Does not mean not feeling the darkness or feeling the light or being able to. It's really about feeling them both in their wholeness. And so I want to encourage that also. It's really allowing your full feelings to feel, the feelings of separation, because that's all darkness really is. It's not really a threat. It's just separation and confusion finding itself again. So rather than perhaps being fearful of these things, we can develop a sense of just allowing to feel them so that we can assist and aid in this process, you know, bridge the human story with the earth story. Because we feel like we really came here to be stewards of this grand experiment. And so and that actually leads into, and also, you know, fully embrace the light, fully feel the light, fully go for it. And know that it's inside of you. And I feel like that's one of the distinctions that this source code for surface dwellers is really meant to express, is knowing that these things are inside of you. And knowing that if they're outside of you, that it is a connection of what's inside of you, not a disconnection. It's something that you then have to follow as a result of that.
Right.
Yeah.
That sense of getting, because I've actually been having that experience quite a bit over the weekend, is I'll see someone who seems real shimmery and vibrant and has a lot of light energy in their system or their aura or whatever, and I'll be like, wow, it's like there's this part of me that wants to kind of like, I want to be like that, or I want to move into that, or it's like, and sometimes what that does is that I actually lose myself in the desire for something that I'm perceiving is outside of me. And it's like following a trinket or sparkles or something, you know, sparkles on the water. And so it's beautiful to kind of, I guess, rather than like try and leap out of myself and follow and be something else, or even try to be that which I see outside myself.
Right.
Is instead just to kind of find that place where I can just drop back in with where I'm actually at and
Awesome.
be in that place.
Right.
And that's a different kind of, maybe even a different kind of energy than it's showing up somewhere else.
I sometimes call that the inner pole reversal. Because it's really it's a flip on our consciousness to recognize that the light that we see outside of us is a reflection of ourselves, and to go into ourselves and culture and to grow that aspect of ourselves rather than reaching for that. Because I feel like in these divisive times, there's going to be a lot of these sort of sparkly treasure-like options, and there's going to be a lot of maps to try to say that all these different X's marks the spot, and I assure you that the X is here, the spot is here, and any other display is going to draw you into further separation, and this is consider it the great unified divide.
Oh, the great unified divide.
And the divide is going to get more drastic so that the Earth can really fulfill this experiment that we came here to do. And this is going to come from a trauma impacting the Earth. This is going to come from different changes. You know, they showed me some of it. A lot of people want details. When are the dates? What's happening? What should I do? And they told me that it's happening right now, and that you should do everything you would do as if it was going to happen in 5 minutes. And you keep on replaying that for yourself so that you're focused in giving all you are and focused on getting in touch with all you are. Because if there is a waiting or a prolonging, there's a separation from this the grand unified divide happening at some point other than the moment. And that's really what this is about. It's about holding all of creation in the moment. So I want to add to something else that you had mentioned, which is the grand plan, for instance. So why is the Earth doing this? You know, that's a really good question. And why are we a part of it? Also a great question. You know, what's going on? And they also were expressed this in the source code template for surface dwellers. Because they wanted this information to help explain and provide clarity of what's going on. So if you consider this spectrum of consciousness, the light and the dark, you know, we talked before about how matter lies into some of the lower vibrations. You know, crystals being a unique exception where you have high vibrations in a hard form. But we have this drastic polarity, and there's sort of a concept that says like Luciferian consciousness, which is everything that made itself believe it was not creation. So everything that was able to forget that it was actually part of the creation itself. That's what we have undertaken, is we forgot that we were actually a part of the creation. We talked the other night about how it's an anomalous paradox that we're really good at embodying. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so within this, we have this spectrum. And what they showed me was that at this time, Luciferian consciousness is beginning to recognize the Creator, and the Creator is beginning to recognize it. Which is absolutely profound. This has been going on for a very long time.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. The Creator is beginning to recognize Luciferian consciousness, and Luciferian consciousness is beginning to recognize the Creator. So the darkness and all of the energies that are a part of the darkness are beginning to recognize the Creator. So I'll say that a different way so it's a little bit clearer. All of the knowing and all the forgetting are beginning to remember each other. And yeah. And what they showed me, this is where it gets really cool, and why a lot of people say Earth is a very significant player in this massive universe, very small planet, massive universe, big player. That the reason why this is so significant is Earth is one of the initiators of this energy, which is in essence the source being able to recollect itself with all of itself, including the matter. Which means that really the journey home has begun for all of creation. Because we are bringing back the full spectrum of creation itself. That is huge. It means more of creation for all of creation. They gave me a great word in this, and they said that the reason why this happens the way it happens is creates increased reproducibility of the creation. Because now the creation truly knows itself through all spectrums. And so Earth is bridging these spectrums as it gets sort of ding, 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 like a bell. And ooh, darkness, light, it's going through all of them. And it's going to go further into the light, and it's going to carry all the darkness it's been through with it. And there's going to be a lot of other planets and star systems that are going to undergo this same oscillation process. And we've come here to support them. We've come here to initiate them in being able to do the same thing so that we can enhance the universe in a whole new way. This is really a phenomenal thing. It means a lot, and truthfully I don't know what it means. It just seems like it's really important, and it feels that way. And I imagine you're feeling it, and all those who witness this are also feeling that as well. And the last thing I'll say to that, that I was given in this information, was that with this source code for surface dwellers, they were also received these templates, and these templates mean, so this is where we're getting into maybe even more human responsibility. All the sacred sites and vortices of the planets are really now activating and cascading an array of higher frequency templates that are grounding in the Earth domain. So what does that mean? It's a lot of fancy words there. There's a lot of grids and a lot of new information that's sort of seeping into creation, into this level, to bring it up. And there's been a lot of work with the Unity Grid and Ascended Masters in building this, but a lot of humans doing a lot of efforts as well. And the Lumerians expressed a big importance on our part to, in our place of stillness in the moment, to call upon our divinity to create grids around our homes, to create grids around our cities, to create grids around our planets as a whole. And you can do this in meditation, visualization, a white bubble of light, or sacred geometry covering your home and then expanding, covering your town, expanding, covering your city. And it's also a great tool to expand your own consciousness, and that these grids can help you align with the earth and the grids that are here. And so that's I think the other really big homework, or home play, by play, build grids and find the stillness. Find the place where you can hold both of these seemingly opposite things as one. And in that, we will find each other in a whole new world.
Beautiful. And what that means to me is, wherever we're at, wherever you find yourself, it's kind of like, yeah, there's special, powerful, beautiful, potent places on the planet, and wherever you are is special and beautiful and powerful and important. Wherever you're at in your life, in your consciousness, and where you're at physically, where you stand, where you sleep, where you eat, where you love, where you are, because really, when it comes down to it, there's no specific physical thing that's going to ground the transformation like us.
Right.
We get to do it. We get to be those transmitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of not that we're us and everything.
Right.
But in terms of from your our personal human experience, I know for myself, it's like I'm constantly. Recently, I've been going, where is, big changes are coming, and where is the right place for me to be? Where do I put myself in order to be of the most service to myself and to the collective process? And the truth is really wherever I am, if I can show up and be present there and feel through, that's what's going to be most potent. And
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I really encourage everybody in that sense that wherever you are in your life, wherever you are at in your feelings or in your growth or in your pain, in your challenges, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. And we're all on this big scale. We're all these different notes playing this earth song. And I say also, this is a time to come together with community. This is a time to find community and to find the places where you feel like you can find your stillness.
And I guess in truth, that connection with nature that we have is really supportive for that too, huh?
Yeah. I feel that this transmission wouldn't have come unless I was in nature itself. Right. So I do give credit to that. I also know there's many city dwellers that are there for a really potent purpose, and find the nature in the way you can. I being mostly a city dweller myself, it's not always easy, but I know that we serve as a function of the whole also, and it's really important. But those who are able to be in nature right now is a really profound time to connect in that way.
I want to talk a little bit too about some of what we experienced over the weekend, just sort of as a metaphor or map for how to for some tools and ways of being now, as these templates come through. And part of it is just what you were saying about how important it is to be with community and to bring ourselves together with other people that we love and trust, and begin to create safe spaces where we can actually share and be together in deeper ways.
Right.
I feel like that's really important, and I was really beautifully supported this weekend by coming into a container, a workshop space, and a house, a temple space that supported us all being together and living together in community over the weekend. So I guess, I mean, for me, what happened is some of the issues around who am I, where am I going to be, how do I survive, got to drop away. And once those started to drop away, then there was like, well, who am I within this group, within this structure, within this space? So once issues of survival had kind of peeled back, there was issues of self-importance and worth and place in the community. And so Amateo actually really helped me by just holding me one night, so that I could actually go into some of those feelings and those uncertainties and just let them come up, let those feelings come up, and it really helped me break through to a new level of being present with myself. And I think for me, sharing this story and sharing this map of coming together, creating sacred space, and really showing up and being present for each other in a deep, real way, whatever it is that needs to come up, is so powerful, because once we can create those kinds of containers, there's room for for us to be in whatever oscillation might be present in the field, and then to return to still point. That's my hit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're amazing, and we had such a wonderful healing space. And I really appreciate this, because I think that what you're offering is exactly what's necessary right now. Because these templates really are a container. And these containers are places where it's safe. And it's safe to feel. And as we feel, we can get in touch with the things that are deeply rooted within us, or things that are on the surface that are not fully being acknowledged, although they're there. I feel like often, I know myself, I skim on a lot of emotions, but to drop down and really get in touch with them, whether it be being nervous because I'm on camera or whatever, they're there, and they're real. And I think that what you're offering is very significant, because it allows these things to break through simply by being. We didn't have to do anything with them. We didn't have to remove these energies. We just had to be with them in their fullness, and then they evolved naturally, effortlessly, as you described it.
Yeah. So yeah, creating containers, whether that's what we do, we're doing that for ourselves, or with each other, or with a group of friends, creating containers in which it's safe to just be, and to feel, and to open up to whatever's present in our consciousness. That it might, this is something that I'm seeing, that might still be oscillating, like, is it going to be safe? Am I cool? Am I cool and safe? Am I in the light? Or maybe I'm in the dark. You know, and it's all kinds of extremes. You know where you're at in the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's going to shift and change. But if there, just creating sacred space to go through those oscillations.
And I think, I think what we're tapping into there is others holding stillness while others are being allowed to go through this oscillation, which is really tapping into what we shared before. It's like in these containers, we do set sacred space. We use metaphysical toys like crystals and prayer, but they work. They really do.
Yeah.
And the breath. That's the greatest tool. And yes, then we can be present and allow these things to fully come forward, and allow, within that, I find that by being present with these things on a deep level and asking specific questions, how do I feel about my self-worth? How do I feel in my interactions with others? While I'm around others, do I feel lonely? These are really big questions that can help bring these things up. And then, other questions that can follow that up is, where do I think that this comes from in my life? And by allowing these questions to help unearth these things, we become more present, because I truly believe as we break through, new potentials and possibilities and new expressions of who we are also come forward. We've had a joyous weekend. It's been amazing. We've really had a chance to deepen our connection and to support each other through our each transformation and stepping into ourselves.
Yeah.
The wisdom of our bodies and the wisdom of our hearts.
And even in the wisdom of for me, like a self mastery of like self-acceptance, in being my own container for like a still point.
Right.
That's been a lot of my experience actually over the weekend, is really oscillating in different feelings and vibrations and ideas and attitudes, and then returning again and again to this sort of this outrageous still point of self, where I kept going, like, wow, it's different.
It's amazing.
Whoa, and so then my mind would want to like kind of trip up and create some more cool, exciting stories, and like, for example, like a story about love, or a story about place or importance or whatever it is, and more I'm finding that I'm just stepping into really being in service in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's it's beautiful, and it has its uncertainties, and I feel that like this recording was meant to happen. It was meant to be, and I'm really honored to share this time with you and to presence your wisdom and what you're bringing through just the naturalness of your being.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
It's been such a pleasure to have this time with you, and I think one of the things I'll just add to this is we've also been really tapping into embodying the masculine and the feminine in this process, which I think some of those oscillations as the currents begin to balance and unify themselves is really the rebalancing of masculine and feminine. Some say the darkness and the light, although I don't ascribe one to the other. I think that they both function on both sides. I feel like that's what we've really been tapping into, holding the container, allowing one to feel, sort of offering and giving with questions, or reflections. Reflections being such a useful tool in transformation, because you can understand so much more about how you are perceived from others based on their own perceptions rather than your own projections. And also, I think one of the things that's really broken through for me is trusting my intuition, in being able to know when to say the right thing or when to act. We laughed because in that moment when we had this amazing healing together, it was told to me that it was time to have this healing space, and we looked at the clock, it was 10:10 right on the dot, and there's no coincidences here. There's like these breakthroughs astrologically and in time that just say, hey, it's time for us to feel. And so yeah, I just wanted to offer that the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine is a big part of this, where the man and the woman can function as both, to allow each individual function as both. I spent time being held crying, and I spent time holding and crying, and I have to say it feels really good. I've been looking for it for a long time to just be held so I can weep and let it out. I don't have to pretend anymore. I can let go of any ideas that others are going to judge me. because of my pain, of my suffering, or that, you know, any release of any energy stored within me is going to be perceived as yuck. You know,
right.
That sometimes is a concern for me, where I don't want to like put my shadow or my garbage out there, but at the same time I need to release it. I have to let that go and know that that's why we set up these containers. That they protect us.
Yeah.
And that it's okay, and that as we release it, it's instantly transmuted. We don't have to do anything with it.
Yeah, which is cool, which brings me back to the violet flame fire, which was one of the gem elixir essences that you make, right? Is that what it's called?
Liquid violet light.
Liquid violet light.
Yeah.
So we did use that. That's one of the fun tools that Amateo creates. And we took some of that elixir just before I kind of went into a meditative space. And anyways, that actually also helped, because it's the coming together of the instant awareness that's like liquid. What is it?
Liquid violet light.
Liquid violet light.
But the violet flame, more
Yeah.
specifically, the violet flame energy, yeah.
So, yeah, just that's the feeling for me, is like, it's like, just takes care of itself.
Instantaneous transmutation.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is so fitting, you know, sitting in front of Mount Shasta with, you know, the energy of Saint Germain and the violet flame being very present here. And that energy of transmutation, and the way I really understand the violet flame is the transmutation of separation. It's not necessarily the darkness instantly becoming light. It's the darkness and light revealing themselves as the same thing. I think that that's special. This has been a real pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that we want to share, or that needs to be kind of spoken forth or grounded at this time in terms of conveying a message? Or the templates? Or?
For sure. For me, I feel rather complete. I want to give my thanks to the Lumerians and to Mount Shasta, and to Anaya Prakasha, whose Womb Wisdom workshop really helped us get further into our bodies and understand how to physically release these things. So I want to encourage people to support her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. And give thanks to our friend Sarah Lisa, who helped give us a sacred container and temple space, and give thanks to you for bringing us together to do this filming.
Yeah, you're welcome. And also to Gabriella Hartwell, that brought all of her beautiful wisdom about soulmate, twin flame relationships. And she really ignited the whole weekend. She brought that information through on the equinox itself, and we Amateo wasn't there in the physical for the workshop, but that was a cool piece of everything that was shared this weekend too. That's kind of the piece that kind of initiates the journey of masculine and feminine, learning to balance those, and also move towards that twin flame relationship, which is interesting because that's that flame theme again, which is that igniting of the oneness consciousness in living form. So
thanks to Gabriella.
Yeah.
I didn't get to attend her workshop, but her and I got to connect deeply, and she's an amazing person, and I support her work a lot.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's great. And so great.
And everyone else, we love you all.
Thank you
for sharing with us and being a part of everything.
Lay your templates.
Woo!